beloved saints. I'm going to go a little further into the other day I said there's three types of people Paul warns us of. Beware of dogs, beware of evil workers, beware the concision, or a slang derogatory word meaning the mutilators. They were so obsessed with the circumcision of the flesh and their own self righteousness that he uses that term. Now, I'm going to take it a bit further and just say a toxic person, and they're written down with different nicknames. Like the one I want to speak about today is the nickname is Judge Dredd. Okay, this type of toxic person that's around you. This is just a hard thing because we want as Christians to be unconditionally loving to people, and I'm not telling you not to be. When I talk about these people, I'm talking about the type of people that are negative to have in a personal, close relationship, and especially regarding your faith. Okay? So, when I refer to these, I'm not talking about in general. I'm referring to your faith being strengthened, encouraged, edified. These types of people we're going to avoid. And we're going to start right here at number one. Now, we're going to use some psychological basics and terms, but apply them to our faith because I know a lot of you are damaged by this type of person. For instance, uh, I remember I told you guys one night it was when the local pharmacy was still open 24 hours, and I had to go in really late. It was like 1 a.m. to pick up a medication of mine, and there was a lady there, and I had, of course, preached the gospel, but I had done it in a way where I'm not preaching at her. We were having a conversation, and I talked about our blessed assurance. And so, because it's a gift by God's grace through faith, you didn't do anything to earn it. So you didn't get it because you were good or you promised to be good or because you love God, but because God has shown you He loves you. And because God has done the work to save you and paid the debt that you owed, and you received it by faith. That means you trusted He did what He said He did and accomplished what He said He accomplished. That He obtained eternal redemption for us. And that if it says, whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. He is the resurrection and the life. So, when we trust Him, we're in Him, and in Him is life eternal, and He seals us with the Holy Spirit till the day of redemption, till the body is redeemed. We've already been redeemed, as in our soul was purchased, right? But the body, this one dies, but some people won't physically die. It's the mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment and a twinkling of an eye. It's when this corruptible puts on incorruption, when this mortal puts on immortality. So this terrestrial body becomes a celestial one and will be just like the Lord's, right? And so the good news is, isn't that amazing? God is faithful even when we're not. But what that should do is encourage us to be faithful, right? Because He is. We're not striving to get something, we're not striving to keep it. We love Him because we don't have to do that, right? The weight is off us. My yoke is easy, my burden's light, right? The one He lays on us. Now that's for salvation. Um, the service of the Lord, it can cost us greatly. It really can. But He equips us because we're complete in Christ. We're not lacking anything to be able to handle that. And He gives us all the things we need to be able to deal with whatever circumstance. We just need to know it's there. So, this type of person will hear good news and be mad at it. And then proceed to tell you why you should fear. Be angry that you don't have fear And this person was so offended by our blessed assurance that they were literally mad. It was that, how dare somebody think they can continue to drink beer and get to heaven? That kind of attitude. When da 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 da. I know you know those kind of people. Meet them all the time, especially here in the South, Bible Belt. So, I'm going to go over the attributes. If there's somebody around, when you give them good information and good news, I know, yeah, but blah, blah, blah. You can't lose it, but you can walk away. You can lose it. Like, you won't lose it, he won't leave you, but you can throw it away and you can walk away. Got to give you the bad news. Always to bring you down. Sometimes they can't even help it. They can't even help it. But anything good, they got to slap it with something ugly. Oh, you think you're secure? Lord, Lord. Depart from me. I never knew you if you think you're doing. They will always find a verse out of context to steal it. To steal your joy. Knock you off the foundation of Jesus. Back onto you and in condemnation. That's how you know you're on a wrong foundation. When you start trembling with fear and worry, am I doing? I'm me? It should be all about, did he? Has he? Did he not say? Did he not promise? Did he not do? Did he not provide? That's the right foundation. It's all him. All right? But this Judge Dredd, they got to bring you some bad news. And I'm talking about this in this toxic faith relationship. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just in your life, but in your life you should apply it too. But as Christians, we love those that are difficult to love. We should. And when we pray, Lord, give me patience, he doesn't just magically sprinkle more patience in you. He puts you in a situation for you to develop it. So it means every time you pray for patience, you're going to get a more difficult person to deal with, because that's how you grow patience. That's how you get patience, is to deal with people that press your patience, that stretch it, that get on your last nerve, as we say down south. You work on my last nerve. That's how you get patience, is have somebody constantly work your last nerve. But I can do this, right? Christ in me can do it. I can't. So let's just look at some attributes of this. I don't want to say attributes, but there's like negative attributes rather. But Judge Dredd in general, okay? But apply this to faith. You feel excited about a new change in your life. We're going to say about our glorious future, okay? But when you share with a Judge Dredd, these toxic people, you are instantly cut back down to earth. They're going to steal your joy. Like, for instance, I had this thing happen with my career years ago. He said, yeah, well, you might have got the contract signed, but, you know, these things fall apart all the time. Or my friend, it's almost like Debbie Downer, you know, just bring you down. Some people don't mean it in a bad way. Some people might think, oh, you're too hyped up. You got to be prepared for the negative. I mean, anything could go wrong. And some people are trying to prevent you from having a hard crash later. That's just their negative, pessimistic attitude. But they don't mean harm. They're genuinely trying to make sure that you don't get your hopes up so you don't get crushed. Let people hope, man. Let people have a moment. Okay? And when it comes to our faith, we don't have to worry. We have every right to rejoice. And again, I say, rejoice. Okay? So, because our God is trustworthy. So there's never a chance of that happening. So you can be in joy with God's promises. You never have to worry. So I want you to discern the difference between those that are trying to prepare you or to prevent further pain from those that just can't stand that you got something and they want to rip it from you. The judge, this person, is always ready with a reason why something will fail. For instance, when I went to Hollywood, I'm going to work in the movies. Everybody wants to do. Everybody would do it if it was that easy. You don't know anybody out there. You don't even have a place where you can sleep in your car. Sure did. Sure did. In a rental car too, because I had to get my truck come out there. I didn't have a car for years. It always a reason why I was going to fail and it wasn't going to work, but I was determined. I didn't know one person. I worked on college films. I worked on the lowest budget Roger Corman studio in Venice. I worked a 22-hour day for $60, doing wardrobe assistant work. I would do anything, production assistant, whatever, to learn, to grow. And I kept getting moving up. There was a co-producer with a big Asian actor for many years. Couldn't go anywhere. Everybody knew his face. And it was just a joy to know how many people told me why I wasn't going to do it, why it would never happen, why I had all these obstacles against me. Da 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 da. You're too this, you're too that. Nope, I wasn't hearing it. But I know some of them meant well. I even had my dad say, I brought him, I flew him out and brought him on my movie set. I had my transpo guys go pick him up at the airport. And I flew him on location to another state. I think it was Arizona. Old Tucson Studios, that's where it was. I was doing a Western. And I Daddy liked Western, so I brought him there. Celebrities hanging out with him. He was just treated like a king. And I remember it was a very well known actor sitting at the table with us, two of them. And my dad looked and said, it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. It was right around my birthday. And he says, I'm so glad my daughter didn't listen to me. I kept telling her why she couldn't do it. She should go be a teacher or a nurse or stay in the retail business or finish her psychology degree or whatever. But she's stubborn. And this time it worked out. And I was so grateful. I knew my daddy was only trying to save me pain. He couldn't see where it was possible for somebody not to know somebody and go out there and accomplish it. He really genuinely didn't. He wasn't trying to bring my dreams down. He just wanted me to shoot for something more reasonable. So he wasn't toxic. He loved me and he didn't want me to be disappointed. You see? Whereas other people were resentful that I did have the potential to do something that I wanted to do with my life. And they would find all the reasons, the bad news, all of it. And then I learned to not share my dreams with people. I learned to isolate and not say a word. And then I realized I was at that time in my life, people don't like when you succeed. Don't bring it up. It makes them angry. So I stopped. And I still don't talk much about my career, except for the bad, because it always upsets someone. I don't know why. I worked really hard. I didn't do anything like nefarious. I did nothing but work hard. And I did not, have nepotism. I didn't have people I knew or family or none of that. So I was proud of myself. But that was then. I have a calling that I think is important. But my point is, there's some that was telling me you shouldn't do it because of this, that, or the other. But they weren't being mean. They loved me and they wanted to save me pain. Whereas other people hated me. They hated that you would have joy or look forward to something or successful, and they wanted to tell you why you weren't going to make it. They don't like you to have that joy. Now, this is in context to our faith. I know you know what I'm talking about. So they're going to tell you why something will fail. For instance, you can't lose your salvation. God's faithful. He'll never leave you or forsake you. But you can walk away, and He's got to honor that. Where does it say that? I heard I'm not my own anymore. I was bought with a price. He don't have to honor nothing. I'm in His hands and the Father's hands, and He'll lose nothing. If He gets you, He keeps you. If you're saved, you stay that way. You can't be unborn. You're removed out of the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. You can't be put back in darkness. The light dwells within you. You're going to bring the light with you. So, but these people, they're judgmental too, and they're really hard to be around. Really hard. No matter how hard you try, you can't seem to impress them. No matter what you do, I have somebody like just exhaust me. No matter what you do for them, it's just never right. Everything's wrong. You could buy them a brand new car and they go for free, right? And this actually happened. And there's something, there's always something wrong. And something breaks on it. Oh, well, of course, it's that car that you bought them. It's like one of those people, right? You think you do something great and they've got to make you wrong and bring you down. They always see what they something over there they can't have, and they're never happy with what they got here. It's always no, no, no. Now I can do it better. I can do better. I need more. I need bigger. I need. It's always going to be that. Never satisfied where they are. I'll be happy if, and so just postpone it, and it never gets there because it's always just out of reach. And they try to do the same to you. Hypercritical of everything and everyone. Okay? Sadly, this includes themselves, but it's only subconscious. They somehow have this sense of arrogance, and so they put everyone else around them so they feel better, right? Yet they're super insecure, and it's why they do that. So there's this dichotomy of arrogance and self-centeredness, yet they have no self-awareness of their part in anything they're doing wrong. They just, let's put it this way. You ever had somebody rain on your parade? Oh, yeah. And they don't want an umbrella. They just want to keep it raining. They don't want nothing good. They won't admit any fault they have. It's always somebody else's fault. And they think they're so insightful about this type of person. And they could just judge that person and know exactly, oh, yeah, they're guilty. You can tell by XYZ. So the best way, if you have to deal with someone like that, is the what the psychiatrist called it's information blackout. Don't share any personal information with them. Be very vague. They will trash every dream you have. They will trash any good thing you say, and if you insist on saying it, they go, yeah, I know. They don't want to hear it. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. And it'll be something negative. Always. Always. And I'm so aware of this because I have it. I have it. I've been dealing with it for a while. I've done everything possible. People can't believe all the things I've done to get rid of this. And all I can think of, if it's that difficult, maybe it's there to give me more patience and the ability to love unconditionally, because it is difficult. But I do have information blackout. My real feelings, I just don't share them. And most of the time, they're usually self-absorbed, so they won't even notice you're not talking about yourself. They don't let you talk anyway. They just want to talk about them. Unless it's negative, then they can keep talking. So when you are around this, it will destroy your faith. Now, there's one little section here. If the toxic judgment, the Judge Dredd here, is an employee or a colleague, and you have to share work-related information, keep it very minimal. And understand they will be harsh, and that you should always ask a second opinion from someone else, because they will always over-criticize you. You're not going to get a healthy, well-rounded view from this person. You can guarantee it's going to be negative. Now, that's in regards to personal or work-related. But in your faith, limit your time around these people. There's no sense in you trying to, cheer them up, or they don't want to hear it. They like the negativity. So, this is a long one, but Paul tells you what people to avoid. I would consider this an evil worker. It's a toxic personality of someone that wants to find negative, wants to strip you of your faith, your joy, and your peace. Avoid this at all costs. Love these people. Try to minimize what personal information you give them. If there's anything in your faith that you really stand on that's joyful, I just keep it to yourself because they're just going to try to find a way to strip it from you somehow. They're going to go look for an argument somewhere that disproves why you can stand on it. And even though it's false, anybody that goes to that much effort to steal your joy, do you really need them around you in your faith walk? Get rid of it. There are brothers and sisters that will love to encourage and edify you, me being one of them. I rejoice when you rejoice, and I mean that. I am not one of those people that when something good happens to you, I'm jealous and I want to. I genuinely want, because God does not have a lack or a limit. Because you get something great doesn't mean I don't have it. God can do it for all of us. It's not, I don't have to take from someone else. There's plenty. And I want all of the saints fulfilled and enjoy. It's just a wonderful thing. And I love being around people that have the full assurance of faith, that are joyful. Because anything can happen, and you're like, yep, well, what's the worst that can happen? I'm with the Lord. There's nothing like that freedom. Okay, guys. God bless you. Don't forget tonight's live stream. Don't forget. It's going to be good about Christian persecution. Bye.